I was ministering in the nation of Aruba. And at the end of the service where I spoke in, a lady came up to me and she was a single mom with 2 kids. And she said, Arleen, she said, did you happen to stand on a street corner? Were you doing that, with the red flag a number of years ago in the red light district? And I hadn't talked about it in my sermon. So I said, yes. But I said, how do you know? And she said, let me tell you my story. She said, I used to live in Amsterdam in the red light district. What many don't know is the red light district is also a residential area, believe it or not. And she said, one night when I was coming home from work, she said, I saw you, Arleen, standing on that corner with your flag. And she said, I got to about 100 meters distance from you. And she said, I had to stop. She said, there was something so peaceful just looking at you, just standing there. And she said, I knew it had to do with God. She said, back then I was an atheist. But she said, I knew it had to do with God because as soon as I came about 100 meters from you, the voices in my head that were telling me to kill myself day in, day out and end my life stopped. Wow. And she said, for the first time, I knew peace just by standing there and looking at you. And she said, 3 years long, while I still lived in the red light district, you guys were there with the flags. And she said, every time I came home from work and I saw the people standing on the streets with the flags, I would walk to the different street corners where I knew you stood and look for you, Arleen. I had no idea. And in those years, my pride died and a lot of other things died too. But yeah, change begins with obedience in the small things. But what she said next, actually I just wept. And I know what Beverly means when she says she's undone, because this woman undid me with her story. She said, those 3 years, she said, every time, she said, I never talked to you. But she said, every time I found you, I would just stand at a distance and watch. And she said, those 3 years moved me from being an atheist to knowing that God is alive. Anyway, she said she and her boyfriend were living together. She had a little girl, and she got pregnant again. And they'd had a little girl, and she moved to Aruba with her boyfriend. And as soon as she told him that she was pregnant a second time, he left her. And the Sunday after he left, the very next Sunday, she walked into one of the churches on the island and gave her life to Christ. And when I spoke to her, she was just beaming. She is a mom, single mom, 2 beautiful little girls, and she is filled with the love of the Lord and is telling people about him left, right, and center, and seen many come into the kingdom. And so I wept when she told me that, because I thought, you know what, Lord, even if all of those years had been for nothing, alone, it would have been worth it. We had no idea. We didn't set out to transform a system or see a major bulwark taken down. When we were flagging, we were just obedient. And we were doing what the Lord told us to do, and he did the rest. And so that's the only thing I wanted to add. That was a personal encouragement for me, but national transformation starts with obedience in the little things I've learned.